The Teen Connect Leadership Residency is a gap semester program that's designed for older teens or young adults who have finished with high school and either they're not going to college or they're not ready yet to go to college. They're taking a gap semester or a gap year to take some time to figure out what they want to do. But rather than staying stuck or standing still, they want to continue growing, they want to continue learning, developing their skills and gifts, but in a more alternative or non traditional way. This program was created out of the need that I saw for young adults to be able to transition into adulthood with a sense of purpose because we're at a point in history where the job market and the educational path to get there is really rapidly changing, especially with AI. And a lot of teens are pausing before they just leap forward and follow the path that maybe has been recommended to them or to their parents or grandparents because it's not proving to necessarily get the same results that it used to get. It used to be that young adults would finish high school, then they would go to college, and that would pretty much guarantee them a stable job and career. And that's not necessarily the case anymore. What it does guarantee them is debt and 4 years not spent doing the thing that they're going to do. And so a lot of them are taking a pause and saying, okay, what are the alternatives? How can I gain skills and experiences that are going to be relevant and mean something in the world that is vastly changing? The heart of this program is giving teens who are transitioning into adulthood an opportunity to develop their skills through real world leadership experiences, which I believe do not happen from sitting and consuming an education, but by actually doing projects that give them a chance to practice their leadership skills. And so, in this time of transition, these teens are going to be given the opportunity to collaborate, to develop their ideas and projects, put them into action while also documenting them. And this is going to give them the result of the experience and a way to show it to future employers or business partners or other people that they may want to work with and collaborate with in the future. The world feels a lot different now than it did when I was a young adult or when my parents were young adults, when basically the most sure way of getting a solid career was to get a 4 year college degree. And now, even though college is still an option, a lot of young adults are pausing because they are seeing a lot of jobs being replaced by AI or being predicted to be replaced by AI. They're seeing a lot of jobs being replaced by AI or predicted to be replaced by AI. And they are taking a moment to reassess if the investment and or debt that college would incur is worth it anymore, or if there is another way to move forward. I believe that no matter how many jobs AI replaces, that there are still certain skills that are going to be really important and irreplaceable by AI. The ability to have real human connection and empathy and understanding, to be able to have dialogue and communication from person to person, the ability to problem solve interpersonal relationships, the ability to lead in person, to be able to organize groups and events and activities, uh, the empathy and social skills that come with experience working with groups, whether those are young people or with their peers, the ability to collaborate with other human beings on projects, and to be able to assess your own and other people's giftings within a project or group collaborative environment. And all of these things are things that can only be learned by actually doing them and by immersing yourself in an environment where you get the real life experience. And so the Teen Connect Leadership program is designed to give them exactly that experience. I think it's easy to look at young adults who are not making forward motion or taking steps forward and to call them lazy. But I don't think it's laziness when they're looking at the world and saying, okay, the traditional path forward of going to college in order to start my career is not serving a lot of people. So why would I want to invest my time and energy and money into doing that? A lot of them feel stuck because they don't see a clear, workable path. They don't see a runway that's going to actually launch them into success. And so I think what a lot of people are interpreting as laziness is actually a little bit of caution and being unsure of where to move forward. I think sometimes young people finish with high school, and because they're not sure of the right path forward, they pause to investigate or uh, do a little bit of research into what the next step might be. And sometimes, if it does not become immediately clear, then they can lose a little bit of momentum. And what this can do is put them in a place of sort of analysis paralysis where they're trying to decide, do I follow this path? Do I follow this path? And not knowing which one will be successful. And so then they don't take any action at all. And this can look like staying home playing video games. This can look like endless scrolling on social media. This can look like um, not wanting to get out and get a job because it's not the right job or the thing that they want to do forever. And I think that this can make them feel stuck. And the longer that they stay in this stuck place where they're sort of paralyzed and not making a decision, the more confidence they lose because they're at a stage in life where they are meant to be taking action, gaining skill, learning life lessons, and they are developmentally wired for that. And when they're not doing that, then they gradually lose confidence every day because anyone they're comparing themselves to, the people who are showing what they're doing on social media, are only showing their success. And so in order to build the confidence that they need to move forward rather than floundering in anxiety, they need to take action. And sometimes that doesn't have to be big, grand, life changing action, but the action of going out and getting a job is going to teach them so much. The action of planning a trip or getting involved in a volunteer project or seeking out a certification program or an opportunity where they are going to get to practice some real life skills and get some real world experiences. Any of those actions can get them unstuck and moving forward. And sometimes they don't know what the next thing after that is going to be, but in order to find the next thing, they have to be moving in a certain direction because they'll never find the end goal if they're sitting still and not taking any action at all. Yeah, for a young adult who might be feeling stuck or unsure and needs to get some momentum, 3 months in the leadership residency can change everything. Why? Because they're going to be getting opportunities to do collaborative work and develop a leadership project. So, this is going to give them real world, real life experience working with other people. They will get the opportunity to lead, but then they're also going to get the opportunity to support and collaborate with the projects of their peers. And whether or not their project is a huge success or whether or not it doesn't turn out quite like they were hoping, either way, they're going to learn so much in the process. We're also going to give them the opportunity to be researching next steps, but in a really forward moving way. So it's not just research to see what's out there. We're going to research potential next steps, such as travel and volunteer opportunities abroad, such as other programs, residencies, volunteer work situations, other jobs available in the community, some entrepreneurship, and we're going to look at, okay, what are my goals and what are some next steps? And then once they research those, we're going to have them actually apply to some of those other programs and get in contact with the people that are running some of the other things that they're interested in and start those conversations. And if when they finish, they decide to go and do them or not, that's up to them. But we're going to get the hard part out of the way of having them actually make contact or actually submit the application so that there is a clear path or a few options available to them. Some of the teens that come, or some of the young adults that come to the program, will want to repeat and do another semester with us, which is great if they feel like it's a good fit. But what we don't want is for them to get all this momentum and then go back home and get stuck again. So we're going to be creating runways in whatever direction they choose for them to be able to take off and continue forward momentum. Hands-on experience is really important because it's not until you actually do something that you fully master it. You can read a cookbook, or you can watch videos of someone riding a bicycle and doing bicycle tricks, or you can see pictures of beautiful gardens, but none of that is going to make you a good cook or master being able to do bicycle tricks or give you a beautiful garden. It's not until you actually physically, with your hands and your body and your mind, put all of that together and try it, that you gain any kind of skill, let alone mastery. Um, it's also not until you actually do something that you find out if you even enjoy it or not. You can enjoy consuming content of other people doing things and think, wow, that looks really cool. I think I'd like that. And then you can try it. And sometimes you do. Sometimes it gets sparks you and inspires you, and you go try it and you find a new hobby, passion, or skill. And then other times you try it and you're like, wow, I thought I was going to love that, but I actually hate it. And both of those things are equally important information for you to know about yourself. And so the process of doing and following those little inspirations gives you the opportunity to learn more about yourself and to learn that, like, yes, I do love cooking, and it's going to take me a few times of trying a recipe to master it. Or no, I don't like gardening because I don't like having to remember to water plants all the time. Or yes, I do like riding a bicycle, and I tend to be really flexible and have good balance. And so doing those tricks is something that is a skill that I'd like to develop more. But you can't know that until you actually try it. And the same is true of a lot of work skills and jobs that young people are considering. They can have an idea about something, but until they actually try it out, they don't know if they have a leaning or gifting towards it. Or if it's fun enough for them to want to put the time in that's going to take to master it. I think the skills that are going to matter the most in the future as technology and AI continue to change the workforce and the available jobs are going to be empathy, human connection, compassion, communication skills, leadership skills, the ability to collaborate and work with other people. And these can only be developed in person. These can only be developed by doing and practicing them in the real world. And that's exactly what our leadership gap residency program is providing. It's providing opportunities to live and work with their peers, to develop projects and ideas, to collaborate with a team of other young adults, to have mentors and people who are experts in their field teaching them skills that they can learn from. And then they also will have the opportunity to lead. We have a community of teenagers here in San Miguel who are available to be taught, for these young adults to put on programs or workshops, to lead events. And so they will get to have real world immediate feedback on their ideas and their programs, and there's so much to be learned through that. whether everything they try is a success or whether they have a few failures and they have to get up and brush themselves off and figure out how to pivot a little bit or adjust their ideas in order to make them successful. All of that's super valuable and is going to build resilience and creativity and really strong leadership skills. The residential community aspect of the program. I think this is really, start over. The residential community aspect of the program is really important because learning to live in community with other people outside of your family is a skill that's going to serve you for the rest of your life because it's important as adults and functioning members of society that we learn problem solving and negotiation skills and how to communicate our needs and our boundaries and how to get along with the people around us. Because unless we're going to go be a hermit in the woods, we are always going to be surrounded by people, whether those are people um, in our homes, family members, roommates, extended family, people in our workplace, and we're not always going to be fuzzy BFFs with everybody we spend time with. And this is a really important part of growing up and part of life is learning how to navigate some of those complex relationships, how to navigate situations where you're around people that rub you the wrong way or who you don't see eye to eye with, because they're always going to be there. And generally, life is going to keep bringing you the people that rub you the wrong way until you learn how to communicate and navigate those relationships. And so, for a lot of these young adults, it will be their first time living outside of their home and outside of being with their parents. And so, it's going to be a really important chance for them to practice some of these very grown up skills. Their mom and dad won't be here to solve some of those interpersonal dynamics for them. And so they'll be navigating that for the first time. And I also really believe that in these types of situations and programs, that the exact right people who need to learn from each other tend to show up to be in a cohort together. And that does not mean that everyone will immediately be best friends, but it means that those are the people that each member of the community needs to learn from. And they will end up forming really close bonds. But as part of that journey and process, they will have to learn how to navigate their interpersonal dynamics, which is awesome, really, really important life skills. Some of the benefits of living in community and being close to people is that not only do you get the benefit of the social community interaction of having people to hang out with and socialize with, which is really fun. But when you're around people for multiple hours each day and week, you tend to collaborate more. You tend to be creative and come up with ideas that you would never have come up with by yourself. There's something really magical about working with a group or on a team that allows you to kind of multiply and magnify each of your own gifts and get results, ideas, and projects that each of you contributing to would never have been possible alone. And the process and experience of working on a project where everyone is working in their giftings and collaborating and bringing their own talents to the table is really magical. And once they've experienced that, then when they move forward into other dynamics and situations or workplaces in the future, they will know what's possible and they will begin looking for and knowing how to find the types of people that complement them. You know, the big visionary thinkers will be looking for those that are good at handling the details and being able to kind of capture their ideas and move them forward. And those that are really good with the details of the technical side of things are going to really thrive by having big visionary creatives that they can collaborate with, because they're going to be able to have some big ideas that they wouldn't have come up with on their own, but they're going to be able to play an integral part. And so being a part of a team can really show you what's possible and how you can actually make a really big difference in the world when you find the right people. So a big important part, so an important part of the leadership residency program is that each participant is going to have a capstone project that they are working on throughout the whole semester. And that can be chosen in various different ways. They can come with an idea of something that they would like to lead or put on. So that could look like a series of workshops that they would like to put on, or a weekend retreat, or classes that they want to teach on a topic that they already know about or are interested enough to develop into something meaningful to pass on to the teenage community here in San Miguel. So maybe they really love writing poetry. So teaching a weekly poetry class would be their capstone project. Maybe they really, really enjoy small engine repair. And they've done that in their life at home, and they want to show other kids how that works and put that into a format of a workshop. Maybe they are a really good listener. And one of the things they're interested in going into later on is therapy or psychology. So maybe a support group for teen girls or teen boys who just need a small group of somewhere to talk. Maybe they develop out um, a, a small group dynamic with something like that. They can come with these ideas, and then we'll help them refine them and put them on the calendar. Or if they don't have any ideas of what they want to do, we have various different roles for leadership that already exist within our community and structure here with Team Connect, such as we always need a stage manager or a set designer for the musical that we put on every semester. We have several big events each semester, such as the Amazing Race, or our winter dance, or our haunted house. And those need event coordinators and volunteer coordinators and designers. Each of those roles is unique and suited to different skill sets. And so there's going to be an intake interview process where we help each young adult identify what skills they're bringing to the table, and then what skills or talents they'd like to develop more, and we'll help them figure out what their capstone project should be. And then when they choose their capstone project, they will be ultimately in charge of developing the project, but they will also be assigned team members from the group who will be their support team. And then they will work in collaboration to carry out whatever their project is. At the same time, they will be documenting the project the whole time. So that means pictures and videos and writing down kind of what's going on, and keeping throughout the whole semester documentation that they just add a little bit to week by week. They're not expected to write a book about it at the end, but if they add a little bit week by week and document the process, then by the end of the semester, they will not only have the experience of having worked on and led this project, but then they will also have a visual proof of the project, and they will be able to present this portfolio style and share it with future employers or project managers or other people that they potentially want to work with. And I think that this type of portfolio is going to be really, really valuable as the world continues to change at such a rapid pace, and resumes can be created in less than 30 seconds on AI. A portfolio built over time showing a real world experience is going to be really, really valuable in showing what they're capable of and what they bring to the table. One of the really cool opportunities that the residents will have is the opportunity to work with younger teens in our local Teen Connect San Miguel community. And this does something really special and provides them with a really special experience because you can talk about leadership and mentorship theoretically and have certain ideas about it. But when you actually get to be in the same room with younger people who look up to you, and you realize that to them, it doesn't matter if you're 19 and you really have no idea what you're doing. To a 13 or 14-year-old, you are older, you are cooler, you are more experienced, and you are a goal that they are trying to reach. And I think that that awakens a sense of responsibility to show up as the best version of yourself and to also recognize the good things in yourself, to recognize what strengths and skills you do have, what confidence you do have, um, experiences that you had when you were 13 or 14 or 15 can be potentially used as examples to help mentor or teach or just give you a little more empathy and insight into what they're feeling because you're a lot closer in age than their parents are. So you remember more clearly what they're going through and what they might be feeling like. And that gives you a really special opportunity to connect in a way that maybe older adults can't. And what I've seen in the teen in the what I've seen in the young adults that are working with younger teens is an incredible amount of empathy and kindness and responsibility that maybe they don't feel or display when they're only around their peers. And I think it gives them an opportunity to practice that and to see it in themselves when they might not otherwise. I think documenting their project and experience into a portfolio piece is a really important component of the program because anyone can write a list of experiences on a resume or just have AI write it for them on a resume. And then another AI program can scan it when they submit their application for a job. But a portfolio that has documentation over time that is a living work is going to be really special because number one, most people aren't going to take the time to put together that kind of portfolio. And it's going to show your development. It's going to show the development of the young adult as a leader from the beginning of the program to the end and what they were thinking or what they were prioritizing at the beginning versus the middle versus the end. And this is going to paint a really complete and clear picture of the experiences they had along the way, maybe some of the mistakes they made and how they corrected them. And future employers or collaborators are going to be able to look at this and see their growth of where they started and where they ended up in a very tangible way. There's two parts of the program that are going to help participants with their next steps after they finish the semester. One element is that we are going to require each participant to do something to be bringing in their own spending money during the program. And this can be something entrepreneurial that they do online or in person. So we're going to help them look at what skills they already have or could develop um, and get them offering that and making some money with it within the first few weeks of the program. So that could look like in person, maybe they really love organizing. And so they could, to the community, offer closet organization or um, maybe they really enjoy editing videos. And so they could offer to put together reels or content for entrepreneurs, and that could be done in person or online. Maybe they're interested in design, and so they can go onto Fiverr or Upworks and offer some graphic design or copywriting. Maybe they love pets or children, so they could do dog walking or babysitting. But we want them finding some way of bringing in a little bit of money for themselves. And part of that is the taking action piece. It doesn't really matter if it's career worthy. It's taking action and showing that with a little bit of initiative, I can bring in some spending money. And for some of them, that could turn into something a lot bigger or later lead to a career path. And for some of them, it'll be pocket money so that they can go out on Friday nights and socialize and go to a concert with their friends. The other aspect that will be integrated into the program is the research and next steps portion. And this is where we're going to talk about some of their goals and some of the other things that they would like to do in the next few years. Whether that would be, okay, I really want to get a job and make money. Okay, well, what jobs are you interested in and what certifications might be needed to get an entry level position into that job? Or maybe they want to travel. Okay, well, what are the travel opportunities? And what are some places that you could go where maybe you could do volunteer work in trade for lodging? Or there's many different paths to different results that kids want, young adults might want to get. And so we're going to have them research those, bring back their research, present it to the group, and then take action on the research that they've done. So, for instance, if they're interested in traveling or backpacking or finding volunteer work trade positions, we'll have them research the ones they're most interested in and then actually apply for those programs. If they're interested in certifications, we're going to find out where are the places that offer those certifications. Can you get those certifications online, or is it somewhere you would need to go, and have them actually apply to those programs or certifications so that the hard part is done, so that when they finish up this semester, if they decide that they're not coming back here, which is one of the options, they can do a full year here if they want. But if they decide, okay, I'm going to move on, they already have something in motion. And if they decide not to go, that's fine. But they have a path that they can potentially pursue. And the hard part of applying or talking to the person on the other end has already been done. The contact has been made. And that just gives them more options for their future. A typical week for the residents will be fairly consistent. The daily schedule will vary, but each week will follow a bit of a pattern. So, for example, and this is subject to change, but for example, we will have a couple of days a week where they are doing some sort of get out exercise, some kind of physical activity together. This could look like a weekly hike or all heading to the climbing gym together. Maybe they go play pickleball, but they will be getting out and doing something that moves their bodies and helps them build a sense of community and teamwork together. And then there will also be various sessions. So depending on what their focus or capstone project is, some of them will be involved in some of the weekly activities that the teens have going on. So, for instance, if they have decided that they want to be a stage manager or set designer for a theater club, then they will be attending the weekly rehearsals for the theater club to be involved in that. If they have decided that they would like to go into a different sort of major, then there will be weekly classes and opportunities. But then there's going to be some life skills and leadership skills that they will always be working on together, such as their cooking classes, their Spanish classes, and then there will be leadership classes on a series of different topics that will give them information that they'll be able to immediately turn around and put into practice as they're working with the local teens. They will also be in charge of hosting the teen social meetups that happen throughout the semester. So they'll be organizing those. So those will look like game nights, movie nights, karaoke nights, football, hiking, different things that they feel would be fun to host with the teenagers. So they will be organizing, inviting, hosting, leading, wrapping up each of those events. And then they will also have some co-working time each week where they're working, where it's some small group and quiet work time where they're going to be working on their capstone projects either by themselves or with their team, depending on what needs to be done that given week. And so that's when they're doing the more planning, organizing, administrative prep for each of their projects. And so that's going to look like approximately 25 hours a week of work slash programming time for them. In addition to their weekly programming, there's going to be one excursion each month that could be either a day trip or an overnight or weekend trip where they get out of San Miguel and go as a group for the purpose of community building to somewhere else that is here in central Mexico for them to immerse a little bit in the culture and get to see a little bit more of Mexico. Um, some of the young adults are residents of Mexico and live here and know a little bit about it, but some of them are coming from other places. And we want to make sure that they get the full cultural immersion experience as well as the leadership aspect. San Miguel is kind of the perfect town and community for this kind of residency program. It's small enough that you can walk most places. It's very easy to get around without a car. The bus system runs to the various sides of town. You can get around walking. Taxis are inexpensive. So transportation is very easy to navigate, as well as the fact that there's so many artists and musicians, and there's a, a very creative energy. And so if the young adults are interested in learning more or taking other types of classes or workshops that they're interested in for developing other artistic endeavors, they have plenty of access to that here in San Miguel. And there's just lots of really creative individuals and adults and other potential leaders that they can learn from and be mentored by while they are here. There's also already an existing teen community here that is thriving and active. And so they have a community of potential people younger than them that are already ready and waiting for their ideas and their inspiration and their leadership. And so it's very easy to come and immediately plug in and get active in the existing community. All of the different aspects, classes, workshops, and elements of the programming that we've decided to include, we believe to be important to the development of these young adult leaders. Some of the things we've included are simple life skills like cooking together, living in a house together where they're going to be dividing up household responsibilities and learning about how to co-live with others in their community. Taking Spanish classes because they are here in Mexico and that's going to serve them while trying to navigate the regular parts of their life. Getting out and getting exercise to keep their minds and bodies healthy and active. Taking excursions with their cohort as part of the memory building bonding experience. All of the things that we've included are things that we feel will help them develop as a whole person, because we are not one aspect. We are not just individuals who somehow are going to learn how to be a leader, and that's one thing. We need our mind, body, soul to all be developed as a complete person in a holistic way. And we feel like all of the different things that we're including into the program are going to develop some aspect of that, especially when we're talking about young adults who are basically teenagers stepping into adulthood. And part of that transition is learning basic life skills, basic living, basic communication skills that they perhaps have practiced a little bit at home but now are going to have an opportunity to do it in a more independent way. I imagine participants arriving at the beginning of the semester excited, but maybe a little bit nervous, maybe a little bit unsure. Uh, I think they'll have an idea of what it's going to be like, but I think the process of the living in community, of the collaboration, of the relationships and skills that are being built, I think they are going to leave more grown up, more independent, more confident, and with a much clearer idea of what they're capable of what they enjoy, and with a clearer direction of at least what their next step in life is going to be. They will be developing friendships and relationships that are potential collaborative partners beyond the residency semester. They could potentially have met their best friend or their future business partner in this process. They've learned how to lead, how to develop ideas, and they'll have a whole new skill set and perspective that they never had before, which I truly believe will be transformational. There will be challenges that the participants will face during the program, and the kind of challenges that I anticipate for the participants during the program will be uh, there's a few different kinds of challenges that I anticipate the participants will face during the program. One will be interpersonal conflicts with their cohorts that they will be living and working with. And these could be personality differences or different points of view, people coming from different value systems. Uh, and I think that this particular one is a really important one because it's part of learning to work on a team, learning to live in community, and coming from a society where online you can badmouth someone and then block them. You can't do that in real life. Uh, if people have signed up and they're here, they have to learn how to navigate those interpersonal relationships. And so, this is one of the places where I think there's potential for tremendous growth and tremendous learning, and the opportunity to practice these interpersonal relationship skills and to navigate these situations. So even though those can be uncomfortable, I'm really excited for them to have those opportunities and to be able to navigate and work through them, especially with a little bit of adult mentorship and guidance for them to transition from the communication skill set that they arrive with and what they're going to leave with. Another challenge that they could potentially face is the uh, another challenge they could potentially face is a project that they decide they want to work on that doesn't turn out like they're hoping. Sometimes what they envision that they're going to do isn't the same as reality. And so we'll be checking in with them on a regular basis as they're in the project development. And sometimes we will see them struggle and have to come up with creative solutions to bring their idea to a successful reality. Other times we see them struggle and realize that the project that they wanted simply isn't going to work the way they wanted it to. And that's a really awesome opportunity for them to reassess and decide if they want to redesign the project to make it work or if they want to pivot and go a completely different direction. And this is also a really, really valuable experience because in real life, our projects and our ideas are not linear. That's not how the creative process works. In order for the creative process to really be realized, we have to sometimes bump up against challenges that shift the direction. And often, when we learn how to navigate those challenges, we end up with an end result that is completely different, but way better than what we could have ever imagined. And so they will get that opportunity in real time to face difficult challenges, to pivot, to find creative solutions, or to reinvent what they thought they were originally going to do. And in all of those situations, that is super valuable experience. When a young adult shifts from waiting for direction into taking initiative, that is the transformation into becoming a leader. Not everybody has had the opportunity to take initiative. There's going to be a huge difference between young adults who have primarily been followers and listeners, and to those who are naturally really creative thinkers. And some of that is personality, and then some of that is programming based on if they went to school and were told to sit still and follow directions their whole life. Um, and it's not bad or good, but what we hope to awaken in each of the participants is a sense of initiative, that they are going to be coming up with ideas, seeing what needs to be done, and then taking action to do it. As collaborators, when they're working on a project, they are going to be all bringing their own perspectives, looking at the project, seeing where there are holes in the idea or where there's potential pitfalls, and then taking action to solve the problem. And that doesn't really come from a sitting and waiting to be told what to do mentality. And so I believe that this will happen for each of the participants, but I think it's going to happen on different time frames based on what natural propensity. I think that will happen on different time frames based on what they're naturally bringing, based on their personality, life experiences, um, and their expectations as they come into the program. In the last few years, I've seen some really amazing transformations in teens that have transitioned into young adult leaders. And that's part of the inspiration for this residency, to see teens who went from receivers, participants, kids, into growing into leadership roles where they chose to take on more responsibility or to apply for a job or to volunteer to lead in small ways, and then be given responsibilities that help them grow and mature and learn lessons, and then take on more and more and really develop leadership skills that are going to serve them for the rest of their lives. To see shy, introverted, or withdrawn kids get experiences and responsibilities that make them stand up a little bit taller and realize that they have skills and giftings that are valuable and make a difference in the community, that younger kids are looking up to them for leadership and mentorship. This transforms the way they carry themselves in the world, the confidence that they have to do other jobs or seek out other work or start their own projects or businesses. And because of this transformation I've seen in the young adults that have been involved in the last few years, I feel really excited to open up this project and program to young adults outside of our San Miguel community and bring them in and let them have similar experiences. For the parents that are worried that their young adult is drifting or isolated, losing confidence in themselves, I would say you're not alone. I think we have a whole generation of young adults that are in the same boat, and that there's a whole generation of parents that are worried about their young adults, but it's not hopeless. These young adults need purpose. They need vision cast for them if they haven't realized a vision on their own yet. They need community and people to inspire them and to collaborate with. And they need meaningful work that can give them a sense of purpose and that they know they're making a difference. And I think all of those things can be found here at the Teen Connect Leadership Residency. Every single issue of isolation or lack of purpose or not knowing what they want to do next, all of those things are being addressed in the residency program. And it's just waiting for those young adults to come and get plugged in. I think this program is a really great fit for smart, capable young adults who are not currently applying themselves and who feel a little bit stuck. And a lot of times they're not applying themselves because they don't want to do something with their lives, but they just don't know what that is yet. They haven't been shown a path that actually will lead them to something successful or enjoyable or satisfying. And they're smart enough to know that they don't want to waste their time or money or energy going in a direction that doesn't make sense. And so our program is a perfect fit for those that want to experience something new, for those that want to live and work in community, who want to get experience collaborating and working on meaningful projects, for those that want to make a difference in the lives of younger teens and get the opportunity and practice leading and mentoring a community of younger teenagers, and for those that want to get real solid life skills that they will then be able to transfer on and move and have a runway to their next step in life. This program is probably not a good fit for young adults who are already moving and have a lot of momentum and know what they want to do. If there's a young adult that is on a path that they're excited about and they have a lot of forward momentum, this isn't the program for them. It might be a distraction. This program is designed for those that are finding themselves, for those that want direction, who want to develop their leadership skills but don't know how to do it yet. For parents who want to support their young adults' independence without overmanaging the process, I think it's really important that we give our teens and young adults lots of opportunities to practice what they're going to need as life skills in adulthood. We live in a society that tends to overprotect our teenagers for too long and not let them actually practice the real life skills they're going to need. But then the kids arrive at the end of high school and they turn 18, and we don't understand why they're too anxious to go out and get a job or to perform basic adulting skills on their own, but it's because they were never at an age appropriate time given the opportunities to try and potentially fail at various tasks to learn how to master them. And so parents who want to have independent, confident kids who move into adulthood with the skills they need to function need to be giving their kids and teenagers opportunities to practice independent skills, to potentially work or volunteer, to do household tasks and be given household responsibilities, community tasks and community responsibilities, where they have a sense of purpose and know that the things they're doing are important, and they're not being overprotected out of the fear that something could go wrong. Because the truth is, teens need something to go wrong in order for them to learn resilience and problem solving and creative thinking skills. And so the young adults who get more practice at those things are going to be more fully equipped to face adulthood with confidence. If I could look into the future 5 years, I would hope that participants that came and participated in this program look at it as a huge point of growth and transformation. I hope that they remember it and look back and see themselves go from child to adult in this semester, that they see huge leaps and bounds in their experience, in their maturity, in their vision for what's possible for themselves. I hope that they are in touch with, collaborating with, and still in relationship and community with their fellow participants, that were part of their cohort, and that they gained the skills to work and collaborate and come up with beautiful, big projects and ideas with the confidence they know that they can carry them out, and that they are solidly on a path of self-discovery into their adulthood. Because any of the young adults who come between the ages of 20, any young adults who come between the ages of 18 and 22 are therefore going to be 23 to 28 years old. And so I'm really, really excited to see what kind of magic that they're bringing into the world 5 years after participating in this program. I am filled every single day with hope about this generation, because I think that teenagers in this generation are brilliant and thoughtful and more aware than most people give them credit for. I think that they want big, bright, beautiful futures, that they want to be working with purpose, that they want to have a life that is fun and fulfilling and full of great and healthy relationships. I think that they have huge challenges to realize all of that, and that the spaces and experiences that we as parents and educators and program providers offer can allow these already brilliant young humans to realize their full potential and what they're capable of. If I was talking to a young adult who wasn't sure about what their next step was, maybe they feel stuck and not wanting to start in a direction if it's not the right one. And so, what I would say is there is no one right direction, and that life doesn't go in a straight line, but you can't gain any momentum while you're sitting still. And that it's better to take a step and take action and potentially make a mistake and learn from it than to stay holding still. You can create momentum from moving in any direction, but you cannot create momentum while holding still. So take a step, take an action, and don't be afraid, because every action can create momentum. You can always change directions, but you can't drive a parked car. This program is super important to me personally, because I am a mom. I have 5 kids, and I have 2 young adults who are functioning and thriving now. But there were moments where if they had had something like this, I would have been so grateful, and it could have helped them get onto a happy, successful path a lot sooner than they did. And I'm so grateful that they're doing okay, but I would love to help provide that space and opportunity for other young adults who would like a little bit of a boost in the right direction. And I see so many young adults in my community that are teens that I've worked with and are now transitioning and gaining momentum and skills and excitement about life because of the leadership opportunities that they're having. And I'm really excited to offer that to any and all young adults that want to give this program a try. Young adulthood doesn't have to be as hard as people want to make it. You don't have to know your whole life plan. All you have to do is take one right next step. All you have to do is move forward a little bit, and then the rest of the path will be revealed. This program exists because young adults need an opportunity and a space to practice real life skills and leadership skills in person, in the real world, not by consuming, but by living it.
My hope for every resident is
My hope for every resident is that they grow in confidence, that they grow in their ability to communicate, collaborate, and navigate their work and personal lives, and that when they leave, they feel more equipped and more ready for whatever their next step in life is. The world needs young adults who are kind, who have empathy, who know how to communicate, collaborate, who truly see other people, who can problem solve, who are creative and resilient. And that's exactly what this program is designed to give them the opportunity to practice and develop. If a young adult is waiting for clarity, I want them to know that clarity comes through action. When you're sitting still looking out into the fog, you never see clearly. It's when you start moving that you can see a step ahead of you, and then another step ahead of you, and then another step ahead of you. Clarity comes through action, not from sitting still. This was very thorough and efficient, and I feel very inspiring.